happy eve of the Feast of the 3 Days of the Writing of the Book of the Law. It's April 7th, tomorrow, April 8th, and the following day, will be the Feast of the 3 Days of the Writing of the Book of the Law. And I will be reading each chapter live at 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you would like to read along with me out loud. Also, I will be posting recordings of Constance reading the three chapters, each of the three chapters in sort of a video. I'll be sharing that. And also I'll be posting links to other readings of the three chapters, including one that I did, produced by James Stone a few years back on YouTube. So it's going to be a smorgasbord of Book of the Law things. Also, I will continue to comment and read comments from the Equinox of the Gods, Crowley's own words concerning and commenting upon the Book of the Law and the writing of the Book of the Law. The other day, out in the parking lot of Sprouts, I teased us with this quote from Crowley, who said, "In new is had concealed, by had is new manifested." New being 56 and had 9, their conjunction results in 65, Adonai, the holy guardian angel. Now, people listening to my daily readings here is a wide spectrum of people who are interested in this kind of stuff and people who are just now starting to get interested in this kind of stuff. And so I got a lot of reactions to the effect of, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And understandably so. That sounds pretty damn cryptic. And at the time, I recall saying that those of us who are a bit familiar with the Tao Te Ching, that the opening words of the Tao Te Ching will sort of help them understand the quote, "In new is had concealed, by had is new manifested." But all of that directly has to do with the three chapters of the Book of the Law. And we'll get into that deeper tomorrow. But the first 5 words of the first chapter of the Book of the Law are had, the manifestation of Nuit. Okay, now if we would look at this, and if we just think about just the circle, just squint your eyes and don't see any of the stuff in the circle, just the circle, that's new, okay? And the stuff inside the circle is had. So in new, the big totality of the circle is had concealed. So all that stuff is concealed inside new. And the first 5 words of the second chapter are new, the hiding of Hadit. Now, does that make sense? the stuff is hiding inside Nuit. Okay. Now, the third chapter's first 5 words of the third chapter are abrahadabra. That's the union of 5 and 6. The reward of Ra-Hur-Kuit. So if we would take Nu as a mother and Had as a father, Ra-Hur-Kuit would be the child. Nu would be the absolute, inscrutable, eternal out expansion. Hadit, the eternal contraction. Let's see here. Contraction right here. And Ra-Hur-Kuit is absolutely everything in between. And here on my pentacle, you see Nuit on the outer perimeter at the top, Hadit on the lower perimeter, bottom, okay, Hadit, spelled with the TH, Crowley said that's fair. And Ra-Hur-Kuit is on the inside, all the stuff. Okay, are you following me so far? Okay, in Nu is Had concealed, by Had is Nu manifested. Okay, and then we get to the Kabbalistic gematria of 56 and 9, and their conjunction being the Holy Guardian Angel. If we wanted to transfer that into the imagery of the Gnostic Mass, Nuit is manifested by the priestess. Hadit is manifested by the priest. They join together in ecstasy and literally dissolve in ecstasy, creating the child. So if we're drawing a cartoon of the Mass, the priest and priestess, after preliminary things, let's just say they kiss, and it's such an ecstatic kiss that they completely sizzle out and create a baby in the host and wine. And that would be the totality of this. That's the host and wine. And then people eat the host and wine, and they become the child. They make themselves pregnant with the child of that union. Now, I know I'm saying this in a very clumsy way, and Constance and I have a Mass seminar. As a matter of fact, we're going to do a small little sort of training session a little later next month. And that won't be taped, I'm sorry to say. But let's get back to the parking lot of Sprouts the other day when I said, you know, if all of this seems very obscure and manifested and all of this, I referred you to the opening stanza of the Tao Te Ching, and I said, now if you can start to wrap your meat brain around that first stanza of the Tao Te Ching, you're sort of getting an idea of this super abstract supernal triad consciousness concepts that are being referred to in these opening verses of the Book of the Law. The first stanza of the Tao Te Ching says, the Tao, and it doesn't say what the Tao is, which is a pretty cool thing, because we're going to start talking about labels and names and things like that as being important. But it's literally sometimes loosely translated the way. It's like Rabbi Ben Clifford says that his favorite name of God is the big what it is. What it is. Okay. And in the Bible, it even says, God says, when Moses says, who the hell do I tell him you are? The answer was more or less, it was a heya, shara heya, which is loosely translated, hey, I'm what it is. I am what I am. And he wasn't saying he was Popeye. Okay. What's that, dear? Okay. The Tao, or the way. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless, okay, that which cannot be named, the nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth. So the nameless, the thing that we just can't, that's the beginning. The named, something you can name, is the mother of 10,000 things, or the myriad creatures, or all the stuff. So the nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth, but the named is the mother of all the stuff. Ever desireless, or if you, now we're putting it in almost human terms, ever desireless, one can see the mystery. Ever desiring, or if you got desires, one can see the manifestations. So when you're desireless, you can see the big nameless picture. But once you have a desire, you start to see all the stuff. These two spring from the same source but differ in name. And this appears as darkness. Darkness within darkness, the gate to all mystery. And now we're getting into this idea of, notice the 11, notice the darkness in the center, separating the supernal triad of all four trees. And notice the 11-sided darkness between Nuit Hadit and the manifested stuff of Rahur Kuit in the center. Okay. Darkness within darkness, the gate to all mystery. Okay, that's from the Tao Te Ching. Now, I know this sounds very enigmatic and inscrutable, and like something out of an old TV kung fu series, flashback. But for those of us who are at least casually familiar with the Kabbalistic diagram of consciousness called the Tree of Life, we might see how Lao Tzu might have explained all of this to his Hermetic and Kabbalistic colleagues. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that cannot be named is not the eternal name. So let's call that the supernal triad of the tree of life. Let's call that the nameless. The named is the mother of all the stuff. Now, the named is the mother of 10,000 things. There's the stuff. Okay. Now, ever desireless, okay, without desire. Remember how Buddha said, hey, desires. That's what's holding everybody to this hunk of rock is desire. Ever desireless, one can see the mystery. Ooh, the mystery. So to desire something, ever desireless, one can see the mystery. To desire something, anything, means that we are dreaming, we are separated from the thing we desire. We poison ourselves with duality. But when we're desireless, we're not trapped in that dream of duality. We've risen above duality. We've crossed the abyss. Ever desiring, one can see the manifestation. So as long as we're prisoners of desire, we give phantom life to those things we're dreaming that we're separated from. And there's an unlimited number of them. That's why in the Tao Te Ching they say the myriad creatures. These two spring from the same source, but differ in name. This appears as darkness, darkness within darkness, the gate of all mystery. Now the abyss, this abyss thing, and I'm not sure, but I don't think the word abyss appears in the Book of the Law at all. I may be off the top of my head, I don't think it does. But the abyss is like a magic looking glass. Okay. That area between the nameless and the named, between 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. That's like a looking glass. Above the abyss, there are no opposites, no duality. It's a unified singularity. Below the abyss, the singularity of consciousness is shattered into opposites that in turn shatter into more and infinitely more opposites. Things that desire and attract and repel other things. Standing on the consciousness threshold of the abyss is truly like gazing into a looking glass. A looking glass that we must, like Alice, step through. But, and this is a big but, I like big butts. I don't even like the song, excuse me. The image of yourself that you see in the looking glass isn't really the real you. Only the purest essence of what you truly are is able to pass through the looking glass. And sadly, pretty much everything you think you are right now is not the pure essence of who you are or what you really are. But when that pure essence wakes up to its true nature, when you leave behind the false dreams of all the things you're not, all the names for yourself that have kept you blind to the nameless, then you've crossed the abyss. Now, I'm Lon Milo DuQuette, but that's my name. And we all know that the name is not the thing named. Lon Milo DuQuette is known by many names. I'm a carbon-based life form, a mammal, a man, a musician, a husband, a father, and an infinite number of adjectives that attach to my personal pronoun. And while they may appear to be descriptive of my occupation and my duties and behaviors, and provide an objective entity for governments to tax, they all serve to separate me from self and my true identity. They separate me the moment they are named. There's a word, the word Nemo. When Ulysses and his men escaped from the Cyclops, they poked a big pencil in his eye, and while he was thrashing around his cave, they hid under his sheep. And once he threw the door open, Ulysses and his men escaped, hanging on to the bellies of these sheep, and the Cyclops was feeling around on top of the sheep for the men who were escaping. He couldn't feel them, and he said, "Who poked my eye with a pencil?" And Ulysses said, "Nemo! Nemo poked your eye." And Nemo means no man. So when Cyclops explained to his fellow Cyclopses, Sophocles, what happened to him, they said, "Well, who did that to you?" He said, "No man did this to me." They go, "What? No man poked my eye?" "Yeah, you're crazy." Nemo. That's what crosses the abyss. I would say you're Nemo, but there is no longer a you or a, if you get it. I cannot be possessed or qualified or augmented or diminished or modified or created or destroyed. There can be no my I. There is no me or mine where the real I is. The real I is Nemo. And so is the real you. Tomorrow, we will read the first chapter of the Book of the Law. And keep looking on the page for little Book of the Law, first chapter things that I'll be posting today. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself. I mean it. It's not just a slogan. Be good to yourself. You can't be good to anyone else unless you're first good to yourself. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.